If your doctor says your labs look normal, but your body is clearly not cooperating, this video will help you understand why. Today, I'm going to uncover a key reason your digestion is not functioning well, your energy is low, and your weight won't budge, and it starts with your gut microbiome. I'm Amanda. I'm a registered dietitian with a master's in nutrition and functional medicine. In this video, which is part 3 of my 12-part series on healing chronic constipation, I'm walking you through the gut-weight connection that's often overlooked. We'll talk about how specific microbes can slow digestion and drive weight gain, what's suppressing your metabolism behind the scenes, and how to start correcting your root cause. Here's something I hear all of the time. My gastroenterologist said everything looks fine, but I don't feel fine. You're tired, your gut's unpredictable, you're gaining weight in your midsection, and no one has explained why. For many of my clients, this is where the root of the problem starts. Constipation slows detoxification, which leads to toxin and hormone recirculation. That burdens the liver and it stalls your metabolism, which creates even more inflammation and more water retention. And the constipation just continues. This is especially common in methane-dominant SIBO or intestinal methanogen overgrowth, where a microbe called Methanobrevibacter is overgrown. Methanobrevibacter doesn't cause infection, but it does release methane gas in the intestines, and methane gas directly slows transit time in your colon. And that's not a theory, that's been shown in multiple studies. So let's clear something up. Motility is not just about eating plenty of fiber and drinking lots of water. When Methanobrevibacter is overproducing methane, your gut muscles receive slower motility signals. And that means that food moves through your intestines more slowly and more water gets extracted and your stool gets harder and more difficult to pass. But here's the part that most people don't talk about. It's not just water that's being absorbed. When motility slows, your body begins reabsorbing other compounds too, like estrogen, environmental toxins, and inflammatory microbial byproducts. And that's a problem for detox because now your liver has to process those same compounds again, and that puts a huge burden on your detox pathways. So I'm talking about glutathione. This is your body's master antioxidant and detoxification molecule, and it binds toxins, preparing them for elimination with your bowel movement. And it protects your cells from oxidative stress as well. But if your elimination is impaired, as with constipation, your body has to make more glutathione to do that same job over and over again. And eventually those levels can become depleted. So here's what that looks like. You start to feel a lot of brain fog. Your tolerance for stress is lower. Your skin might become more reactive or dull. You start gaining weight, especially around your midsection. You feel like your body is working against you. All of that is connected to your detox capacity, and your gut plays a bigger role in that than you realize. In my practice, I use whole genome stool testing to assess what might be driving someone's chronic constipation. Here's what I'm usually looking for. Methanobrevibacter. This one's often elevated in clients with chronic constipation and bloating, and it's especially common after taking antibiotics. Bifidobacteria. This one's typically low, and when it's low, it removes the microbial counterbalance that regulates motility and prevents the overgrowth of Methanobrevibacter. Akkermansia. This one's often low in clients with metabolic issues and those who are experiencing weight gain. It's very commonly low after people have done restrictive diets for a long period of time, and it's known as nature's Ozempic for its role in regulating weight. And then your butyrate-producing bacteria like Faecalibacterium, Roseburia, and Eubacterium. These are usually depleted, and that matters because butyrate improves motility, it reduces inflammation, and it enhances insulin sensitivity. In addition to those, I'm also looking at microbial diversity and pH because Methanobrevibacter thrives in a more alkaline colonic environment. So a pH above 6.5 means that it's more likely to overgrow or stay overgrown. So I want to give you a quick example. I worked with a client named Jenny, and she came in with the classic symptoms of chronic bloating, chronic constipation, weight gain around her midsection, and fatigue that felt like she was dragging through her whole day. She told me it was really hard to stay awake after lunch. Her labs were all normal, according to her gastroenterologist. They'd ruled out irritable bowel disease, but she knew something wasn't right. So we ran the full stool test and found out that she had really high methane production. She had really low butyrate producers. She had low bifidobacteria, and she had a colonic pH of 7.8. In less than 3 months' time, by strategically repopulating her beneficial microbes, growing them back to their target levels, increasing the diversity in her diet, optimizing her detox pathways, and ultimately reducing her methanogens, we saw her transit time improve from 48 to 24 hours. Her bloating dropped by 80%, and she started losing weight without cutting calories. She didn't change her diet at all. So, what causes these types of microbial imbalances in the first place? Antibiotic use, even if it was years ago, can disrupt that colonic pH and kill off beneficial bacteria that suppress those methane producers. And that creates an environment then for Methanobrevibacter to take hold and cause this really chronic constipation. Long-term use of low FODMAP or low carb diets. Those are meant to be therapeutic short-term diets to suppress symptoms. Long-term use of them starves your microbiome of the beneficial prebiotics it needs in order for these beneficials we were just talking about to thrive. And then the overuse of antimicrobial supplements like berberine, that's a really common one. It can really wipe out your butyrate producing bacteria. Low intake of prebiotic fibers and polyphenols, high intake of food additives, artificial sweeteners like sucralose and aspartame, dietary emulsifiers like carrageenan and polysorbate 80. So this is why temporary diets often give temporary results. They might reduce symptoms short term, like the low FODMAP does, but if you're not restoring the microbiome afterward, they leave the gut more depleted than before. So what can you do today? Well, step one would be to test smarter. Use a stool test with whole genome sequencing. Don't use the GI map. This will show your levels of key microbes we talked about and whether methane production is a likely issue for you. I break down my exact test recommendations inside my free constipation relief guide, which you can download in the description box. Step two, rebuild your beneficial microbes. Incorporate foods that feed your bifidobacteria and your butyrate producers. I'm talking about things like onions, garlic, asparagus, ground flax seeds or chia seeds, resistant starches from green bananas or from cooked and cooled potatoes, berries, purple cabbage, polyphenol-rich vegetables. And then step three, go slow and track your progress. If you've been constipated for a really long time, your gut's probably going to be sensitive. You want to introduce one new food at a time, see how you do with it, and give your microbiome some time to adapt. If this video helped you connect the dots between your gut microbiome and symptoms like constipation, fatigue, and weight gain, I want you to download my free constipation relief guide because it walks you through the tests I use, the markers that I want you to look for, and the next steps toward rebuilding a more functional gut. In my next video, we're going to talk about how thyroid health impacts motility and why so many people are misdiagnosed or undertreated when thyroid-related constipation is the real issue. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it.